Yeah, October 7th was awful. Absolutely.
Obviously.
Terrible attack. But also, what they've done to Gaza is insane.
It's insane.
And if you can't see that, if you can't say that, and your response is, Israel has the right to defend itself. Like, what are you talking about? Against what? Children?
Right.
Against women and children that are getting blown apart? Against aid workers that are getting killed? It's insane. And no one wants to talk about it. And if you do talk about it, you're anti-Semitic, which is so strange. Like, I don't know how they wrangled that.
Joe Rogan has consistently been accurate, correct, and pretty critical of the Israeli government anytime he covers the ongoing war in the past between the Israelis and Palestinians. And in this case, as you heard him say, he's been pretty critical of the genocide taking place in Gaza. And now, thanks to Benjamin Netanyahu's eldest son, we've learned that Rogan allegedly refused to have Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on his podcast to essentially spew his lies and propaganda. And if this story is confirmed to be true, I commend Joe Rogan for having moral clarity on this. Now, Fox News posted a headline on X reading that Joe Rogan claims Hunter Biden could be president, insists he's more intelligent than most people think. And in response to that, Netanyahu's son, Yair Netanyahu, wrote this. Great wake-up call for conservatives to remember Joe Rogan is not a conservative. He gave platform to every single neo-Nazi anti-Semite on this plant. I guess he meant planet, but he refused to have my father on his show because he knows that he doesn't stand a chance against him. And all those years of anti-Semitic propaganda will go to waste. Is that why Netanyahu refuses interviews with people who actually know what they're talking about and instead insists on going on shows like the one hosted by the 30-year-olds who like to call themselves the Nelk boys? We'll get to that in just a second, but Cenk, thoughts?
Okay, so first off, who the hell are you? You're not a citizen of this country. Oh, so the Nepo baby, son of the terrorist Benjamin Netanyahu, who has killed 50 times the civilians of Hamas, 500 times the children that Hamas killed, would demand that Rogan sit down and be lectured to by the prime minister of a different government. Oh, are you demanding it? And are you calling him an anti-Semite because you think that'll work and that'll scare Rogan or any of us? Brother, you missed the memo. We don't give a crap anymore. We don't give a damn who you call an anti-Semite. That might work with your buddies in mainstream media who do your propaganda and who run scared of little bitches like you. But you and your terrorist father will be given no quarters by any real media in this country. I'm not talking about the milk boys milking Netanyahu on camera. I'm not talking about mainstream media who will ask him, oh, can you please tell us who the anti-Semites are so we could fire them for opposing a genocide? I mean, you're only starving children to death, right? But beloved Israel, how much more money can we give you? Hey, Yair, or whatever your stupid name is, okay? We don't owe you anything. Israel has taken over $300 billion from America. You owe us. Where's my $300 billion? I want it back. You're using our money to starve children to death and have killed 59,000 at a bare minimum, 20,000 children at a bare minimum? And you think you could order us around? Hey, Rogan, sit down and be lectured to. And I'm sure Theo Von, Tim Dillon, all of us, right? Oh, we are the great Israelis, and you must follow our orders. Guess what, head? We're not following your orders. No one's following your orders anymore, other than the coward, corrupt politicians and the coward, corrupt mainstream media. For the rest of us, no quarter given. And yes, I would love to have Benjamin Netanyahu on the Young Turks. We're very happy to give him a fair interview. Okay, come on this show. And hey, if Netanyahu can defend Israel's actions on the Young Turks, he'll have done something interesting and it'll be noteworthy. That would be a real interview, okay? But if you want to go on and get milked by a bunch of weak soy boys, that's up to you, man. Okay, but none of us men and women of character and moral integrity are interested in your terrorist propaganda.
Now, the Nelk boys were not as discerning as Joe Rogan is, and did host Benjamin Netanyahu on their platform, where he proceeded to engage in the same lies and propaganda that you would expect from a war criminal. And if you didn't manage to catch any of that, here is a snippet from the Full Send podcast.
Why do they say Israel's like starving the people of Gaza?
Well, because we're trying to get the food in, and we let food trucks in, and guess what happens when we let them in? Hamas steals the food, takes the good chunk for itself. Then they jack up the prices, and then they sell the food to its population, to its hungry population, if they give them at all. And then use the money that they take from their own people to recruit more killers into their terror machine.
In a piece published over the weekend by the New York Times titled "No Proof Hamas Routinely Stole UN Aid," Israeli military officials say. You literally have Israeli military officials admitting that the UN distribution of humanitarian aid was not stolen by Hamas. There was no evidence of that. It's a completely made up story to justify the intentional starvation of the Palestinian people. Jane.
Yeah, and so now everybody's catching on. And by the way, same New York Times story, US intelligence confirms Hamas was not stealing the food from the United Nations delivery. So that was 100% lie that Netanyahu just told the Milk Boys, and the Milk Boys went on to milk him afterwards and did nothing to object to what Netanyahu was saying, other than asking him if he goes to Burger King or McDonald's. Okay, so look, that's what. But honestly, really, is there any difference between CNN and the Milk Boys?
Not really.
The New York Times and the Milk Boys.
Let's be fair, because look, I hear what you're saying about CNN, and there have been plenty of segments where they provide cover for Israel. However, those segments with Jeremy Diamond on the ground, Clarissa Ward has done excellent
what's
reporting.
Amazing? So you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Jeremy Diamond, Clarissa Ward. By the way, Trey Yingst on Fox News. Great. So we give credit where credit is due. Okay, but notice they're all on the ground.
They are, exactly.
Because it said, just like Colonel Aguilar that we showed you the video of in the last segment. He Green Beret goes there to give food, and he's like, oh my God, the Israelis are murdering the starving people waiting in line for food. They're just shooting at them with tanks and bullets. Everyone on the ground is horrified because you're walking into a dystopian, like literal genocide in live action. It's the most horrific thing they've ever seen. They come back traumatized and scarred. But the ones that are comfortable in their studios, they'll hear that from Clarissa Ward or Jeremy. Oh, interesting, fascinating. So they're all the children are being murdered. And up next, Israel's great and deserves $30 billion. Like they forget it instantly. And 90% of their coverage is tilted completely towards Israel. And like Arabs and Palestinians are called terrorists 24/7. The Israelis are never called terrorists, even when they kill 50 times or more, right? There's no end to it. Okay, so, but the tide is turning, and that's why Nepo Baby is in a panic. And he's like, oh, you have to let my dad do the propaganda. Oh, anti-Semite, anti-Semite. You loser, no one cares, okay? We all know that that's propaganda #1, to defend Israel, commit war crimes, and then call the entire rest of the world anti-Semites. Oh, they would love us murdering babies if they didn't hate Jews. They're the hateful ones, not us, okay? Absurd. All right, so why is everything breaking down? Because of online media, because of social media, because of podcasters, and that is why they're upset. How much is it breaking down? Guys, the top rabbi in the country, meaning the rabbi who represents the biggest Jewish denomination in America, already put an op-ed in the New York Times saying, what are we doing here? We gotta stop. This is not we, Israel has to stop. This is too much, this is crazy. The top Holocaust expert in the country, who is an Israeli American that served in the IDF, says, oh my God, this is definitely a genocide. Textbook genocide. This is a horrific moral blemish on Israel, and one that might not be able to be removed, okay? Former prime ministers of Israel, 2 of them have called it a genocide. Ehud Olmert, a former prime minister of Israel, is saying Gaza is a concentration camp. And that is true, it is a concentration camp, okay? And finally, now what people are doing is going, wait a minute, has Israel been doing something along these lines the entire time? And people are beginning to go, wait, what happened in 1948? Because we were told the Palestinians went for a picnic and didn't come back. And then the meanie Arabs attacked this poor little country. When now you realize the actual history of it, and now everybody's looking into the history of it, anywhere between 750,000, but if you count the children that had not been registered yet, up to 2.5 million Palestinians were driven from their homes. Palestinians were massacred and their dead bodies paraded around town until everyone ran for safety. That's why it's called the Nakba, the catastrophe. So that's now what people, and then they look at 1967 and they're like, wait, I was told that Israel was attacked by the mean, terrible, terrorist Muslim Arabs. But it turns out, no, Israel attacked in 1967. They started that war and they attacked all of their enemies and destroyed their air forces before they even got up off the ground, because they weren't gonna get up off the ground. It was a military attack by Israel. Now Israel's attacked 5 of its neighbors in this conflict and the West Bank and Gaza Strip. And people are beginning to realize, oh, Israel is not a special ally. Israel has not helped us at all. In fact, they've created up to 2 billion Muslim enemies for no reason at all. Okay, for no reason, no benefit at all to us. And on top of that, they've taken at a bare minimum $311 billion in adjusted inflation dollars from the US. Wait a minute, is this all propaganda? That they took $300 billion off of us and we helped them commit all these war crimes, attack all their neighbors, take more and more land, and they're using us as the suckers? And now that people have started to wake up to that, that's why Netanyahu's like, oh, wait, maybe we should allow a little bit of food into Gaza. Maybe I'll allow some people to airdrop food into this population I starved. 147 people dead already from starvation, 88 of them children. Okay, 6-week-old killed, 4-week-old baby girl. I'm sorry, a 4-pound baby girl. So they're starting to realize, we might have gone too far. Yeah. Okay, and that's why the panic has begun in those circles, and I'm here for it. We should send them $0, and the next thing we do is we should demand a $300 billion check back from Israel. Why? Why do we have to give you anything? All you've ever done is cause us massive harm and damage. You have contributed nothing to America, nothing. No, well, we bought some of your weapons. No, you bought the weapons with our money. Oh, we helped identify terrorists. You mean your enemies that you made us kill with our money, and then they became our enemies. Wow, you sound like you're such great allies. Give us the money back and stop murdering people, you terrorists.
We're out of time right now, but in our bonus episode for our members, I want to explore a little bit of who Yair Netanyahu really is. He's actually here in the United States, living in South Florida, but you should get to know his history a little bit. So for our members, tyt.com/join today after the main show. And if you're not a member, you can become one by going to tyt.com/join.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.